A majority of Americans don't know if Biden is doing a good job in the Israel-Gaza conflict. This hesitancy seems to be what's keeping Kamala from shooting up in the polls amongst left-wing and Democrat voters. Even more specifically, Muslim Democrats or left-wing people are against her in higher numbers than other groups. There's even a Muslim Democrat mayor who is endorsing Trump over Kamala. So many of these left-wing people are going to vote for Jill Stein. So I want to compare pound for pound who would be better if you were to vote for Jill Stein, Trump, and Harris in the Gaza-Israel-Palestinian conflict. So the first and foremost, if you cast your ballot and it goes for Jill Stein, there is a 99% chance that she is going to lose, maybe even higher. I do not know any polls that give her any sort of favorability. I do not know if she even has a chance physically. Like, I think there are states that she just can't win because she's just not on the ballot. I have gripes against the current political system. I hate that the Libertarian Party and Green Party don't have a say like the Democrats and Republicans. I wish I could see them on the main stage debating. I wish, but we don't live in this world. And right now, the outcome of 2024 is going to be reliant on the two major parties that typically win the election. Let's disregard that, and let's say we live in the world where it's the 0.001 chance that she does win. How does she get us to the end of the conflict where there is no more genocide? Does she do an executive order to stop the funding for Israel? Well, a lot of the funding seems to come from Congress and Senate, and Jill Stein could theoretically veto that. Will we have a Jill Stein presidency where she just vetoes everything, because most likely Senate and Congress are going to negotiate bills that will have other parts like some sort of increase in spending for Medicare that is tied with this funding bill? Will she have a presidency where nothing gets done? Is the conflict in Israel and Gaza more important than, say, there was a bill to increase Medicare, expand Medicare, Medicaid, and we're just going to stop it because it may have funding for Israel? It doesn't seem like politically advantageous or just generally advantageous for the American people. So I can't imagine a Jill Stein presidency where she gets anything done. I saw a political gridlock against Obama when he tried to get any policy done. When Biden came in, he got stuff like the CHIPS Act, the infrastructure bill, the stimulus money. All of this stuff is great. I think a lot of these bills were gutted and kind of shells of their former self. They were still an accomplishment. A step forward is a step forward. We can't sit there and not do anything all day. If we got 0 bills done, that's awful. Just because one bill isn't perfect, we shouldn't just sit there and say, well, at least we stood on our principles, but we got nothing done. But this is just political nuance. This is the moral question. If FDR couldn't get any other bill done, but he got the Green New Deal, would it have been worth it to nominate him? Is the Green New Deal that much more worth it than any other bill that his counterparts would have done? Those are just questions we have to ask ourselves. In the case of a Jill Stein, I don't think she has the political wherewithal to pass these bills like a Biden. As much as I disagree with Biden, he is politically savvy and he can get these things done. And like I said, I think it was worth it to see something like the infrastructure bill go through because it personally affects me and it's improving my city. Let's be realistic here. There's no chance she will win. There's also no chance that I think she will be successful in defending the rights of Gaza. So, going back to reality, if I vote for Jill Stein and Trump wins, what is the outcome? I believe there's a higher chance that Israel takes over. Trump has spoken vehemently on how much he wants to support Israel. He's already spoken to Netanyahu in a possible Logan Act violation where he wants to support and continue Israel, but at a higher capacity from what it seems. He also wants to deport protesters in favor of protecting Palestinians. That alone makes it so that if we want to fight back, if we want to combat a, say, middle-of-the-road centrist who is seeming to be favorable of Israel versus a fascist, you have more chance of success against the middle-of-the-road centrist who kind of likes Israel. Also, as we speak, the Biden administration has been trying to have a ceasefire deal since the beginning of the conflict post-October 7th. Kamala also supports that, saying that we need a ceasefire. Trump does not. So in this realistic theory of how the world will be if we vote for Jill Stein could possibly lead to a Trump presidency, given that Kamala and Trump are the most likely candidates. And in the case of the world where Trump wins, it seems like if the outcome we want is less Palestinian deaths, that will not be the case if Trump wins. Kamala is not perfect by any means. Kamala is not going to be the savior for this 100-some-year war, but I think it is ludicrous to say your biggest goal is to stop the Palestinian deaths and then allow Trump, who seems to want to worsen it, be the winner. I don't know if this is a sort of virtue signaling many on the left do have, where they are disgusted by the Palestinian conflict, which you should be. They think that not voting for Kamala, even though it's a tough choice, which it should be, president elections should be a conflict. I've had this talk of people, and usually they say, I just won't vote. I'm sorry that the equation was pretty hard, but you have to solve it. Inaction is just as dangerous as horrible actions. So I urge you that we need to vote for Kamala if you want to save Palestinian lives. It's not going to be perfect, but this is an inherited war that many of presidents failed to fix. It's only going to get fixed when we stop trying to side with one side completely, and if we just have this unvetted financial income for them without some sort of contingencies, which I believe the Biden administration seems to have placed. It seems like there's been chances where Biden has kind of bent the will to Netanyahu, but is he this evil villain trying to let Gaza burn? I don't see that. Who is? Trump. Who is? Seems like Jill Stein indirectly.